What's cracking, fiends? T-Money down in the dungeon on this bitterly cold Thursday evening. I've got a fire going. Tipsina is in her amazingly cat over by the fire. You can see her over yonder. Very, very cozy there. And she's enjoying a nice night by the fire. So we are going to do an update, and this is going to be... Sorry. Fucking A. God dang it. There we go. Part 2 of the the most wonderful haul of the year that I did the other night. 50-minute video. Thanks everybody for checking that one out. And yeah, this is basically the rest of my Vinegar Syndrome haul and some Kino. A whole bunch of Kino. 88 films, new release from them, and one Criterion Collection release. And so let's get right down to business. So first up we have from Kino, Casanova, and starring the great Donald Sutherland. I'm actually watching a TV show right now called The Undoing, starring Nicole Kidman, Donald Sutherland, and Hugh Grant. And it's actually really good. Hugh Grant is being accused of murdering this beautiful woman that he was having an affair with. He's a doctor. He helped save this woman's son. Nicole Kidman plays his wife, but it's really good, and it's good to see Donald Sutherland in a movie. And just to chat real quick, I watched another movie last night, finally for the first time, Deadly Games, and that movie is insane. It is so fun. It is so weird. It's basically like the French version of Home Alone, except the tricks and the you know, like the rebuttal against it's a crazed Santa Claus that breaks into this little kid's family mansion, which is so weird in itself. I mean, I kept thinking, like, who would own and live in a house like this? It's just a weird movie, but I loved it. Some really sad scenes as well, particularly involving an animal, but really good. It was fun. I mean, it was just really weird and unique, something different. It was French, I think, so it was different. And the guy who played his grandfather was great too, the blind Papi. He was so good, so perfect. But if you guys have ever seen Funny Man, the mansion in the movie actually reminded me a lot of the mansion in Funny Man. So just a weird movie. But yeah, that was Funny Games. Dial Code for Santa Claus, recently put out by Vinegar Syndrome as well. So check it out. It was subtitled. I'm assuming the Vinegar Syndrome release. I just watched it on Netflix, I think. But yeah, it was good. So anyways, back to this. Casanova. This film is from 1976, and Donald Sutherland plays the famous Italian womanizer Casanova. And apparently it's beautifully shot, and great, very well acted, and I'm not really sure what goes on in it. But it says Sutherland played Clute. I don't know what Clute is. I thought it was Casanova. Stunning portrait of Casanova, the infamous Italian womanizer. Donald Sutherland, in parentheses, Clute, portrays the great seducer not as an amorous anomaly, but an everyday man living in extraordinary times, featuring dazzling European settings. Blah, blah, blah. An amazing score. So that's Casanova. I got my greasy fingerprints all over it. That, guys, is another reason why these little protectors are great. At DC Cab, yes. 1983, Mr. T co-stars in this one. Never seen it before, but it sounds really fun. Just about some, like, dudes back in the, I guess, the early 80s. Cab drivers, I guess that was a thing, like the DC Cab crew. And, I don't know. Craziness ensues, and it's pretty comical, and yeah, just a good old, I don't want to say blaxploitation, but sort of, I guess, maybe, but I don't know. It sounded fun. And then we have Attack, starring the great Jack Palance. Love me some Jack Palance. It's a war movie from 1956. So it's directed by Robert Aldrich, who did a lot of stuff. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, The Longest Yard, Kiss Me Deadly. Very, very well-known, seasoned director. I don't know. But yeah, this sounded pretty good, pretty intense. It takes place during... I don't know what war, actually. It doesn't really say. But Jack Palance is a lieutenant, and yeah, I don't know. War film from the 50s. So that's awesome. I'm sure it's very well acted. And then we have Burt Lancaster playing an Apache in Apache, and it just looks so funny how he's portrayed there. But he's kind of like Chucky Bronson. He can get away with, or Christopher Lee can get away with playing anything. But this sounded pretty good as well. It's from the same director, Robert Aldrich. And, yeah, he did a lot of stuff, man. He did Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, The Dirty Dozen. Lots of good stuff. But, yeah, so, Western. And then we have The Great Rituals, which is a re-release from Code Red, I believe. This movie's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's got Hal Holbrook in it, and yeah, these guys go on this camping trip, and they're kind of stalked and cat and mouse type thing with a crazed psychopath in the wilderness. Great scenes, good gore. It's a good film. Classic, one of my favorite slashers of all time. We have the re-release of Just Before Dawn. Again, this is a wilderness slasher. It's very good, very atmospheric, I guess. And I just love like slashers that take place in the wilderness. There's a lot of really cool shots in this movie as well, and I love it. So, yes. And finally, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't think this had any other release, because Ronin, aka Scorpion, has been doing a lot of re-releases with Kino. And this is a Kino Scorpion release, and so a lot of times Scorpion had originally put out like a limited edition with a slipcover, and now Kino's releasing standard editions for cheaper. But I looked through my entire Scorpion library or whatever catalog, and I couldn't find this movie ever, in my collection. So I don't think it ever was released previously by Scorpion. So correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But yeah, great cast here. This is just kind of like a ripoff on like Conan. And it looks crazy. I mean, it looks like, I think it's like these brothers, these barbarians, and they're tasked to go, it's kind of like a fantasy, fight an evil, an evil ruler by the name of Kadar, played by Richard Lynch. And Richard Lynch plays a great villain, always. He's got that weird, unique look. I see a dinosaur on the back. I see a Michael Berryman with a horn on his head, which is awesome. And it's directed by Ruggero Deodato, who I love. I always forget the name of that slasher, and I know I'm having a deja vu because I've been there before, but I think it's called... I always want to say Body Parts, but I know it's not. It's something body, though. But it's a good slasher movie. Good director, Italian director. So that's Barbarians. And then we have Tintero, a.k.a. Tiger Shark. Now, I believe this has a release from Scorpion. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm not sure. But I don't recall it ever having a slipcover. So it's almost like Kino did the special... If a slipcover makes it a special edition. But I'm pretty sure I own this movie... on a Blu-ray from Scorpion, and now this is a Kino re-release. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. This sounds great. It's got Hugo Stiglitz in it, who is he's not amazing, but he's great in Nightmare City, one of my favorite zombie movies. And it's just basically like these This couple goes on a trip in the Bermuda Triangle, and they're stalked by a tiger shark. So, kind of like a Jaws ripoff from 1978. And then we have The Train, which is a Burt Lancaster film as well, from the amazing John Frankenheimer. It's a World War II film from 1964, and supposedly it's really amazing. I know Twilight Time put this out on Blu-ray as well, but I've never seen it before, so we got a nice new release from Kino, so that's awesome. And a movie that I've never seen, believe it or not, and I've heard a lot of great things about this one, Crash. This is the Criterion release. Arrow Video is also putting out a 4K, so you can grab that if you'd like. But yeah, I had to pick this up. I have to watch this. It's one of those movies that's just supposedly phenomenal, unique, unsettling, and just one that I never saw. So yeah. And of course, it's directed by David Cronenberg, so you know it's going to be crazy. This is a brand new one from 88 Films. We have Jackie Chan and New Fist of Fury. From what I understand, this is kind of like a sequel or a remake or sequel to the original film that was starring Bruce Lee. And this was kind of like a breakout film for Jackie Chan. So showcasing, some of his talents in the martial arts. So that's awesome. Yeah, the film is from... I hate when they don't put the year. Sorry, guys. Oh, 1976. So, awesome. Definitely an early Jackie Chan role. All right, so now let's get into the rest of the Vinegar Syndrome haul. It's pretty quick. All it is the 2 VSCA titles and the slipcovers that I bought. So, Malibu High, kind of the one I was the least interested in grabbing a slip for, but I did grab it because it's sweet, simple, but effective. Love the colors. And then... I don't want to say classic, but to me it's a classic slasher film. Don't Go in the Woods Alone. Another wilderness slasher that's just fun. I like to watch this movie at least once a year. And I just love the woods setting and the corniness of this one as well. But yeah, great goodness there. And then of course, probably my favorite slipcover of the new ones, Nightmare Sisters, starring the unbelievably sexy, in her prime, Linnea Quigley. And yeah, it's really cool artwork, so I dig it. I especially dig this cover, man. Badass. I love that purple. So that's sweet. And so those of you who don't know, I'm sure everybody does, every kind of like Black Friday or halfway to Black Friday, Vinegar Syndrome's created the tradition of putting out slipcovers for a lot of their previously released titles. So that's what these are. There's 4 in this batch. The last one being Witch Trap, which is an amazing slipcover as well. Pretty good movie too. So yeah, I really dig this. Just so classy. Those eyes, so cool. And yeah, the thing that's weird is that I'm slowly, as they continue to issue slipcovers, I had like one full rack of Vinegar Syndromes, like 52 titles, but like I'm starting to pull them off now because they don't fit once I put the slip in. So just another drawback of not having a proper showcase of my movies on shelving rather than racks. So and then we have the 2 VSA titles. I like action movies. This is weird. This is like the exact same color scheme. I'm just noticing this as Nightmare Sisters. Let's put these up next to each other. You guys can get a hint of the similarities. Look at that, especially the back. It's so weird. But yeah, so martial law. I'm not going to pull this out now. I have it in a thing, but this was one of the VSCA's, number 10. So that's cool. And Action USA. So Vinegar Syndrome action titles. I think that's what VSA stands for. I could be wrong. But Action USA and Martial Law. So probably 2 pretty obscure action flicks from the 80s, maybe 70s. But yeah, so super cool. That's number VSA 10 and VSA 11. So now I have them all so far. All right, yeah, that's it, guys. This is going to be a quick update. Just wanted to show you guys what I got in so I can go ahead and do my filing and get on with life. Get on with the night. Catch you on the flip.